The PS5 launched in 2020, and by 2026 it is already well into the second half of its expected generation. That raises an important question for anyone who owns one. Will the PS5 still support new games in 2032? The short answer is, probably not every new game, but the PS5 could remain relevant for a surprisingly long time. The PS5 has already established a huge installed user base, and developers have strong reasons to continue supporting it for years. However, as future hardware becomes more powerful, there will eventually be games designed specifically around next-generation capabilities. The real question isn't whether the PS5 will suddenly stop working. It's about when developers stop making major new games for it. By the time the next PlayStation generation arrives, there could be an enormous audience still using PS5 hardware. That matters because developing a game for an older platform can dramatically increase its potential audience. If millions of players still own PS5 consoles, publishers have a strong financial incentive to release games on the platform. The PS4 provides an excellent example. It launched in 2013, but developers continued releasing games for it many years later. Even after the PS5 arrived in 2020, some major games were released on both PS4 and PS5. The PS5 could follow a similar path. A future PS6 could offer significantly more powerful hardware. Developers may want to take advantage of features that aren't available on PS5. That's when PS5 support will begin to decline. The process will probably happen gradually rather than overnight. Could PS5 games still arrive in 2030? Very possibly. The PS5 could remain an active gaming platform well into the early 2030s. 2032 is where things become much less certain. By that point, the PS5 would be around 12 years old. Its hardware could look extremely limited compared with the systems available 6 years later. Future games may demand substantially more CPU performance, GPU power, and memory bandwidth. Supporting the PS5 could become restrictive. Future games could require more powerful hardware for AI-driven NPCs, real-time world simulation, and advanced physics. The PS5's SSD was a big improvement, but future consoles could be even faster, surpassing the original PS5 hardware capabilities. To create a PS5 version, developers may have to reduce asset quality, simulation complexity, or environmental details. However, sports games and annual franchises could continue supporting older hardware to reach as many players as possible. Independent developers could also keep the PS5 active, as indie games generally don't require the same massive resources. Backward compatibility and cloud gaming are other factors that could extend the console's life. The most realistic scenario is that the PS5 continues receiving games into the late 2020s and possibly the early 2030s. The PS5 probably won't suddenly become obsolete. Instead, its role will slowly change to a mature platform with a massive library.